Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all participants joining us from different parts of the world. On behalf of Canada-Nepal Forum for Research, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our third webinar in this ongoing series of scholarly engagements. CANFOR, as many of you know, is a Canada-based not-for-profit organization committed to fostering interdisciplinary research, promoting dialogue among diaspora scholars, and strengthening academic collaboration between Canada, Nepal, and beyond. Through our conferences, publications, and webinars, we aim to contribute meaningfully to global academic and policy discussion. My name is Acharya, and I'm a teaching professor at University of Ottawa, and I'm currently serving as the president of CANFOR. It is my honor to host today's session, a topic of profound historical, economic, and political significance: Nepal's march to prosperity in the last 75 years, advance, drifts, or decline. This theme invites us to critically reflect on Nepal's long-term development trajectory from monarchy to republic, while interrogating the complexities of economic transformation policy choices and structural challenges. Before we begin, a brief housekeeping notes are here. The keynote presentation will run for approximately 45 minutes, followed by a Q&A session. I kindly request all participants to write their questions and feedback in the Zoom chat box during the presentation. Once the keynote address is complete, I'll open the floor by enabling participants' microphones and cameras for further discussion and engagement. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Dr. Acharya is an Ottawa-based economist with over 25 years of experience in economic policy research in Government of Canada. He has served as the Economic Research Coordinator within the Canadian federal government, where he contributed to policy development and analytical frameworks shaping national economic decision-making. Dr. Acharya has published in leading academic journals and has also actively engaged in public scholarship, writing on Canada's economic policies in the National Post and contributing to debates on Nepal's economic development in prominent Nepali newspapers like the Nagarik News, Kathmandu Post, and the Republica Daily. His works bridges rigorous economic analysis with accessible policy discourse, making him a respected voice in both academia and in public spheres. We are truly privileged to have Dr. Acharya with us today to share his insights on Nepal's economic journey. Dr. Acharya, the floor is yours now.
Thank you, Banuji. It's very generous introduction. Since both we are Acharyas, you can discount some of that. And we started CANFOR together, so we have another discount factor. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining today. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining. So it's my privilege to be able to talk to you about sharing what I have been doing. Maybe in my talk you may not find the most relevant issue, but economics is in economics time compound. So whatever we have done in the past couple of years ago, they are still equally relevant. So I'll try to do a quick, the review of what happened in Nepal in the last 50, 75 years and see what I see as the problem, and then we'll discuss what next to be done. So with that, let me try to share my presentation. Vanuji, is that okay?
Yeah, you can do it.
And my presentation will be mostly in English, but I think maybe I will speak a little bit in Nepali too once in a while. I see that most of the names seems to me that you understand Nepali. So, but in question answer period, we can do both. If you ask a question in any Nepali, I will reply in Nepali. In English, I will reply in English. But I can switch once in a while.
All right, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, share. What is it?
Yeah, good.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the topic. It's a long presentation, so I will try to put as much as I can in the last 45 to 50 minutes, then I will stop and we can, do the Q&A and try to cover whatever is left. So, sorry. So this is the framework. So I will frame what I want to inquire. Then I will go to the prosperity across three regimes. And I will discuss about what are the long-run foundation of prosperity and what are the short-term policy responses to help to prosperity and what is the role of institution and what are the key findings and what I think should be the reform priorities. So the framing question. So I have research questions and I will tell you what period of analysis I'm doing. And in Nepal's political timeline, I will quickly give you the very brief history. It's a very crowded slide. I will not spend too much time. Then I will have a methodology. So what are the research questions? How have living standards changed across Nepal's three regimes? Being an economist, to me, nothing is more important than raising the standard of living for the citizens. So I will do that in three regimes, and I will evaluate what has been the role of long-run foundation of prosperity in shaping those living standards, and what are the short-run policy responses been, and their impact, and what role institution has played, and what reforms could change Nepal's course. Okay, those are the main research questions I will be asking. So the period of analysis is a historical frame from 1950 to 2025, but because prior to 1975 the data is a suspect, so my core empirical window is 75 to 25, but we don't miss anything because as I said, development is a time compounding thing, and if you look at 1975, more or less, you see what has been happening in the past. So there are three regimes here. 1975 to 1990 we have absolute monarchy, and 1980 to 2008 is constitutional monarchy, and 2008 to present is the republic. So those are the four year I will be focusing on, or those are the three time period I will be focusing on. So for those of you who need to have, I guess, a quick review of Nepal's timeline. So if you see the monarchical period, it started 1768, the time Prithviraj Shah made Kathmandu Valley as the capital, till 2008, to the 240 years. And for the 78 years, there was a Shah rule. Then we have 140 years of Rana rule. Then we have Shah rules restored another 58 years. So in 1950, we have a transitional period for 10 years. Then we have an absolute monarchy, 60 to 90, 30 years. And we have constitutional monarchy from 90 to 2008. So those are the 50 year period of Shah, when Shah rule restored. Then we have a republic from 2008 to present, and republic was proclaimed in 8, new constitution 15, federalism started in 17. So what do I do? Very quick methodology, temporal comparison. So I do Nepal across 4 benchmark years. I mentioned you before, which 3 regimes, which spans 5 decades. Then I will compare where it is possible and where it makes sense without cluttering the chart. I will compare Nepal with Bangladesh and India. So why Bangladesh and India? Because we share border, and India is our largest trading partner, and we do practice a similar type of political system. Bangladesh is similar to us in development problems and constraint, and I don't compare with other countries in South Asia because either they are too small. I don't compare with China, or too rich, or to compare with, or not with China also because it's too far for us in economic trajectories. So before I start deep down, let me have I guess, a full disclosure with 2 conviction and a reckoning. So I was and remain firmly anti-monarchy. As a student, I was anti-monarchist, so I am today. I believed a republic could take Nepal farther than monarchy ever could. That was my conviction when I was a student. That belief was tested by reality and forced a harder question: why had that not been realized? So a new political force now has the chance to renew that promise and put Nepal on a better path. However, I want you to understand here that what is lost is lost. Remember, if the Nepal was a rich country, we will start with a rich benchmark. But what we lost, the rivers that we did not tap are lost. The students we did not teach are lost. I mean, partly the skill is lost. The energy we did not transform is partly lost. But the future, is there to build from wherever we are now. So there is an opportunity to do good things. But Nepal is where it is today because of what we did in the past, right? So it's not like political change, it comes in overnight. Economics is a compounding thing. It's a path dependent. What you achieve tomorrow depends on where you are now. So with that caveat, I think, let me start. Okay. So prosperity across three regimes. So what do I measure prosperity using? So the best measure is per capita income. It's the individual income, how much income, total production in the country divided by the number of population. And research shows that when income per person rises, living standard in all dimensions, living condition, education, health, environment rise with it. There might be some exceptional countries, but most of the time, in many countries, whenever country get richer, the living standard in any dimension rises. That is why for a poor country like Nepal, raising per capita income sustainably, um, uh, it should be at the center of the economic policy issue. Sorry. Because per capita income is the outcome of many underlying forces, it depends on so many things. So you will see later on when I advance in my presentation, assessing it requires examining the broader fundamentals of prosperity. So that's why I will use mostly on my per capita income and dig deeper on the foundation of what determines the per capita income. So here, so just quickly, what I have here is just I want to locate Nepal geographically. So Nepal is a very small economy with a GDP of 48 billion. So billion has 9 zeros. Versus if you want to compare, Canada has 2.4 trillion, trillion has 12 zeros, and India has 4.5 trillion, and China 20.7 trillion, and US about 32 trillion. So that's where we are. So it's a very small country, and then this chart on my right, so it shows you the per capita income in purchasing power parity, means that it takes into account the cost of living in every country. The Canadian or Nepalese rupees can buy the same thing as a Pakistani currency could, kind of that. In that way, our per capita income in 2024 was 5,700. Okay. So you can see that we are the poorest in the South Asia region, and South Asia is one of the poorest region in the world. So and you can see that all the Bhutan and Maldives are very small, tiny economy. But once you take into account the population, which is per capita, means they are very rich country, right? So we are below Bangladesh, very close to Pakistan, and about half of India's, and far below Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and Maldives. So that's where we are. So this is just a reference point where we are in that part of the world. Now here what I did how fast Nepal grew compared to Bangladesh and India. So those three periods you see are absolute monarchy. The another line is for during the period we have constitutional monarchy, and the last here is we have republic. Okay, so you see the Nepal growth accelerated under the republic, but still trailed peers. Right, we are even the lowest. Over the past 50 years, India consistently outpaced Nepal, while Bangladesh also grew faster, especially in the latter two periods. Nepal's relative growth improved under the republic, but still trailed its peers. So conversion remains elusive. So they are, you saw before, they are richer than us, Generally in economics, we say that the poorer country grow faster because they have more lower hanging fruit, but that's not happening in Nepal. We are not only poorer than them, we are growing slower than them. And you saw that here. So here I put that into a historical perspective in a different way. Look at the India chart. The same thing with Bangladesh. Nepal has fallen further behind its peers across regimes. So this is a Nepal's income relative to peer countries. So on the upside, on the numerator, I have Nepal income, per capita income. Denominator, I have, for India case, I have India's per capita income. You see that in the 1990, when the constitutional monarchy started, our income was 82% of India, the second bar here. So this is during Panchayat regime, 92%, we fell down to 82%. And when in 2008, when the republic started, after this constitutional monarchy, we were fallen to 64%. And when in 2024, we fell further behind 51%. So you can see that we are not catching up. It's become harder, right? We are getting poorer and poorer compared to them. If you look at because these are for 15, 18 years average, annual average, but if you look at the last 5 years, the things are even more troubling. So if we take the last 5 years growth rate, doubling GDP per capita would take 21 years for Nepal, 14 years for Bangladesh, and 10 years for India. So you see that India grew double the rate of Nepal in the last 5 years. So that's our position. So we saw that I did that cross-country comparison, and I hope I convince you that our situation is not that great. Now let me compare Nepal to Nepal itself now, right? So you see here, Nepal grew from 1.6 to 2.6 to 3.7. Looks like under Republic we grew faster, but there are two things that I need to take out before I claim that Republic actually accelerated the growth path. So one is demographic dividend, because that does not depend on policy. It's these are called non-regime drivers. They have been there whatever the political situation was. So because if you have more working age population between 15 and 64 years, generally growth should be higher. And the public borrowing, when you borrow more, it raises the growth temporarily without structural reform. So those two things, I want to take them out. If those are the forces, the growth has been accelerated because of those two factors. Because they don't depend on a regime; they are more structural thing. And the second thing is the borrowing is you have to pay back. This is not something that is structurally different within the economy. So now, sorry, just okay. So demography, if you see here what I did a number of people within that age group, 15 to 64 in Nepal. In Panchayat regime, there were 55%. In second period, there were 56%. In latest Republic period, there were 62%. So there were 6 percentage point more working age population. Doing economics using standard, what will be the impact? It alone explains 0.6 percentage point of 1.1 rise in per capita GDP growth. Remember, our growth went from just a moment. I want you to remember our growth went from 2.6 to 3.7. That is 1.1 percentage point higher annually. So out of that 1 percentage point, 1.1 percentage point higher, 0.6% is due to larger number of working age population. And then this is the date. Okay, so the public borrowing. Look at the public borrowing. Nepal is a blue chart. It's like in a panchayat regime. It was below 25%. It has gone up. Actually, if I do more recent data, I didn't do it because I want to be consistent. It will be even more. So that explains. I will not go to the detail because detail is. I can share this later on if you like. So this explains 0.1 percentage point. Okay. during Republic era and 0.3 percentage point in the absolute monarchy era. So because of date, okay? So now let me put them together. So first three charts are what I showed you already. 1.6% growth, annual growth in Panchayat regime, 2.6 points growth in absolute monarchy, constitutional monarchy, and 3.7% in Republic era. Okay. Now, when I adjust demography and date, they change. Now you see the blue chart remained 2.6, but the Panchayat era falls to 1.3 from 1.6, and Republic era falls from 3.7 to 3. So only 4 percentage point you see the advantage now, annual advantage in Republic era, okay, from 1.1. Now, I go to different, I do the different, one more factor now. Sorry, not this one, here. Now, what matters for the public is the disposable income, means income after tax. So in the Republic era, tax per capita grew more than twice as fast as income. Look at the down below. The first chart is the same, 1.6, 2.6, 3.7. This is the tax, annual tax growth. The first three lines are income growth. The second three bar are tax growth. See, 3.7 versus 7.7. So it increased double the rate tax. If I take that out, so I will have, remember, I'm taking this differently. I took already data and demography in one chart. Now, forgetting that, I'm just controlling tax growth here. If I do that, it comes back from 3.7 to 3.1, okay? Now, what I'm going to do, so I showed you that if I consider tax alone, even then the growth is not that high. Now I put them all together. I think it's been very confusing. Let's do all together in one slide, okay? Putting the adjustment together. So remember, headline growth was 3.7 under Republic and 2.6 under constitutional monarchy. Just to, okay, I don't put here absolute monarchy here, too many charts, so that, doesn't make sense. So let's just do 2, okay? And if I do the demography and date adjustment, it falls down to 3.6 versus 2.6. Disposable income growth after tax goes from 3.7 to 3.1, and this falls to 2.4. Now, 3.1 minus this 6%, 7% here for the demography of this. If I do 3.1 for tax control minus 7 percentage point of demography and date, right on 2.4 versus 2.4. After full adjustment, the Republic added no net disposable income growth relative to the previous regime, right? There is no premium. So now, some of you, and rightly so, might be saying that we cannot really subtract all tax thing because government might be providing some services vis-a-vis tax. I just want to hold you, that's a good question, but just want to hold you that because I will be dealing with that later on. So right now the message is the growth rate were very similar, no difference from the regime before, okay? So quickly, per capita income provides the most objective basis for comparing prosperity across regimes. On that basis, Nepal's record was mixed with no strong Republic era breakthrough. To understand why, we must turn to the long-run foundation of prosperity, which I will do next. Okay? Why that is the case? So long-run prosperity, so what I'm talking about, the GDP per capita is a long-run prosperity things, depends on the capacity to produce more over time. So it depends on many things, but let me explore 5 fundamental things that I think are the most important one in Nepal case. Physical capital, human capital, labor and migration, energy and infrastructure, and international trade. So, I mean, and for all of this, you can write a good, very good 35, 40 page paper. And later on, I will give you my blog if you want to read some of these things. I have been told there in a separate and full manner. But I'll just quickly go with couple of charts in each of them. One chart actually, not even couple. So this, what I do here, I talk about the capital, which is the saving, the saving and investment from both private and public sector. So this is the GDP saving divide. So the green line is a saving. We call gross domestic saving. That is the total production in the country minus consumption, give the domestic saving. This is divided by GDP. GDP is the total value of total goods and services produced in Nepal. It's always we do by GDP. That's why it makes sense to look at as a percentage. So you can see that the saving has been declining rapidly. And the second here, the red one is gross national saving. National saving is domestic saving, which is saved, the production done inside Nepal and saved. National saving is plus domestic saving plus what comes as a remittances or from other thing, and that has been saved. So that is the red chart. So you can see that it has been rising because of remittances. It's mostly almost all remittances. And then the blue chart, the blue chart is the national saving, and the red chart is how much investment, total private and public investment has been in Nepal. GFCF is gross fixed capital formation. That's what the economists call those things. But you can see that, read that as investment. Okay. So if you see under monarchy here, they all look together, right? The gap between saving and investment was relatively small. So in a way, what was saved was maybe invested, but not very different. Under the Republic, if you look at the last part here, after 2008, the remittances driven national saving rose, but domestic saving weakened. Look at here, right? It goes from 15% to all the way to, I think, 6% now, but your national saving rises a lot. The saving investment gap widened sharply, reaching 12. And other thing important is this wide open. You see that we have saving, but we do not have investment. About 12%, which is a huge, right? 1/3 of our saving is not invested. There is another question that investment is not efficient, which I will not have time to cover here today. That's important issue. But even then, even saving is not translated into investment, either because it has gone to land purchase, or it is a capital flight, or gold, or idle deposit. You see now here a lot of things. People are putting money in the bank, and a bank has not been able to loan them out. This is the gap. There is saving, but there is no investment. Okay. This suggests that much of the additional saving did not become productive domestic capital formation, which is very important because investment is the core, is the important foundation for growth. But in Nepal, first of all, our homegrown saving has dwindled, which is a production based rather than national saving, which is not really production based. Second, even then what is coming, we are not investing. Now, let me go back to the human capital. Weak human capital is a hidden drag on economic prosperity. You can slash it out in a different way, but I just put two. The first chart shows you, of course, it's under three different regimes, 95, 2003, 2022, right? So you can see that our average schooling year has increased marginally from 7 years to 8 years to 9 years. That's the average, which is not that great. And share of student in private school, you can see the second set of chart, it has really gone up. Okay, so that's something here. And then look at that is kind of a quantity aspect, right? How many years of schooling and where students are going. The rightmost chart gives you to me that's very shocking in a way. This shows you how many percentage of children of age 9 to 14 are capable of math and reading and writing, math and reading, writing, numeracy and reading, that is expected in grade 2 and 3. Less than 50%, 44 and 47% can do grade 2, 2 and 3 math and reading for those who are below 14%, below 14 years of age. They are not learning anything, despite the fact that the number of students in private school has gone to 17 to 35%. I'm guessing. I guess I'm implying that The private school are teaching better, but even then, look, more than half are not learning anything. So you don't build a nation going that way. I mean, the human capital, that's the thing. Now, the third, whatever is remaining, a growing labor force did not translate into jobs at home. Now, the blue line are new foreign work permit holders. Okay, every year, how many Nepalese are asking, taking the permit hold, foreign permit, work permit, foreign work permits. And the red line is the, I estimated how many new entrants will be in the job market every year. Okay, those, uh, 20 people reaching 20, you have to take 1 year, a particular year. So I took the 20 years and after as a job market entrant. The thing doesn't change even if I make 16 or something. So you see that the blue line are larger than the red, blue bar are taller than the red line, means that the foreign work permit holder are always higher than the new people that entered the job market. Still then, see the third point, youth unemployment rate is rose from 7% to 23%, which is actually underestimated. I can tell you even more people are unemployed. And more than 9 million work permits were issued in the Republic era. That stopped in 2024, by the way, pointing to a deeply broken domestic labor market. So that's where the labor, the third foundation, right? We talk about capital work, we talk about skills, we talk about the labor, and then let's talk about energy. So the Republic did not convert energy potential into productive energy use. So in the first one, you see that energy use for Nepal compared to India. So actually Nepal uses only 1/3 of world average. It's one of the least energy use country in the world. And compared to India, you can see it here, 520 versus 712. What more, I think the troubling to me is what constitute that energy. So you see the still 70% of that energy comes from traditional sources, means fuel wood, animal dung, and agriculture residuals. Okay, 70%. Lowest energy use country with 70% coming those traditional. Look the yellow bar, that's our electricity, only 10%. We talk about exporting, we talk about big things, but look, the country which is the one least energy use, that country uses, with that least energy used, only 10% of it comes from electricity. And you can see, I just had an article, I think 2-3 days ago in Republic about the energy issue, why it's so fragile, even though it's such a low energy use country. Nepal is one of the most vulnerable. If we did not have the foreign reserve, Nepal would be most vulnerable of this energy shock in the world today. Because of foreign reserve, because of migration, we are, I guess, not that vulnerable, but that's where we are. Okay. And the other thing is a trade collapse. Here, trade export is something that teach the firms, they create jobs, and firms learn in the international market, they become productive. Right? Every country that has been developed in Asia, you can name anyone. Their most driving force was export market, exporting. But Nepal, look at the yellow line. Is it yellow? Sorry, export line. It's dwindling, right? It went from 26% here to 8% here down. But import, of course, is skyrocketing. And this is the remittances. What is paying? Remittances. And the gap now, you see, between the red line and the blue bar, that's the thing we have to borrow to pay. Because our export pay a little bit, but still I think there is a gap, right? So generally, if you look at Bangladesh, India, China, the export and import line are together. They're almost in tandem. But in Nepal, look the wide opening. Okay, that's a serious, very serious issue. So under the Republic, Nepal lost even more of this channel of prosperity. The export channel, it lost even more. Okay, so that's why the long run foundation, the roundup, what did we find? Taken together, so let me see the time. Okay. These were 5 conversion failures. Human capital, we did not build scale. Labor, we did not create job. Physical capital, we did not invest in the right way and invest all our saving. So saving is not converted. We did not produce energy and we do not use energy and we do not export to pay our import. These are 5 conversion failures. Anyone who wants to build Nepal have to address these failures fundamentally from the very beginning. Okay, this same failure extended to other infrastructure. So it's not only energy, road, irrigation, logistics, and digital connectivity. I don't go with that because it's too long for today's presentation, but I could have presented similar failure in those dimensions as well. As a result, Nepal long-run foundation weakened. The next question is whether Nepal managed short-term stabilization any better. When there is this thing, in Canada, for example, we do monetary policy, we do fiscal policy, government builds roads, or exchange rate is, interest rate is lower and raised depending upon what needs to be done in the economy. Let's see those policies, how they work in Nepal. So short-term stabilization response. So basically, there are 3 stabilization policy called fiscal policy, which is government taxing and spending; a monetary policy, which is in Nepal, in Canada case, for example, uh, fixing the interest rate. Sorry, not exchange rate, interest rate. In Nepal case, it's mostly monetary and fiscal. Exchange rate policy are the same because the exchange rate is fixed by the central bank. Okay, let's quickly look at those 2. So look at this. So here, so regime public spending shifted across regime. Public spending shifted away from investment. Look, the 3 charts here. This one, the yellow one, is recurrent, which is called mostly salary. Those type of expenses, consumption related. And this red line is a kind of financing that go to the provinces and those other things and pay the bill. I mean the debt service and those things. And then the blue one here is what we call capital expenditure. These are part of this expenditure is mostly building road, building school. That's related to building something. Not all of it, but some of it, at least. Look at the percentage. So they all 3 add up to 100%. Okay, to total government expenditure every year. But look, this capital expenditure, which is because of part of capital expenditure is investment. So that data goes to the one I showed you, the investment rate, when I showed the saving investment differences before. So it has been steadily declined. That means this shift favored consumption over capacity building. So weakening long run growth. So we don't build anything, more and more we consume. Look at this rising green bar and higher taxes. Number 1, remember the higher taxes I talk about? This is one of the things. The higher taxes did not translate into stronger public investment, but rather maybe per consumption shown by the green line. That is one that I'm saying. I'm saying that government did not provide, did not use that tax to build the nation. Okay. Now this is a bit very difficult chart, but I think the takeaway from here, what I am saying is, we economists generally look at the real exchange rate, meaning that this is how much foreign basket can Nepali basket can buy. So in other words, if your Nepali basket can buy more goods, that's not good because your exchange rate has been very expensive to them, right? So the upper the line, that means we can buy more and more foreign baskets. Look at India, for example. Our currency appreciated by 58%. Remember, our 1 rupee equal 1.60 was fixed in, I think, 1993 or 96 or I don't remember. I think around 90, right? That is still there. India is progressing faster than us. You saw that in the last 5 years double, but at least they have 15% more GDP per capita than us. We started at the same place. Now I think that our exchange rate is highly appreciated. And besides, we have higher inflation. Both two things affect the real exchange rate. So what I am saying that we cannot, one of the reasons we cannot export because Nepalese goods are too expensive for India and China as well. Okay, this has other application. I know that the um, depreciating Nepali dollar, Nepali rupees makes things more expensive for Nepalese, but hey, it cuts both ways, right? So because I think the one of the reason the export line is falling, there are many reasons, but one of the reasons is our things are too expensive for foreigners to buy. That's the only thing I'm saying in a way that the exchange rate and monetary policy also fail to do the work that they were supposed to do. So what is the roundup? Short-run policy also fail. Instead of helping build long-run strength, they often weaken it. Public investment dwindled, infrastructure lagged, and external competitiveness eroded, further weakening the foundation of growth. This was even more pronounced under the Republic, right? You saw that, look at here, under the Republic era, they are really rising high. So here too, and here too, there are these blue line, a slightly upward trend, but it's still very low, okay? Now, institution. Behind this short-run and long-run outcome I showed you lies a deeper question of institution and incentives. Across regime, policy was shaped by weak institution and distorted incentives. So the next chapter, in next chart, I'll suggest that these institutional constraints worsen under the Republic. I could have many charts, but I think these three charts, three things capture things well. So what I do here, the first three charts they are for 96, year 96, 2008, 2023. So in a way, the 96 is the constitutional monarchy, 2008, the end of constitutional monarchy, and 2023 is the republic era, right? So first is government effectiveness, which measures the quality of public services, okay? So higher the number, better, okay? This is the rank. World Bank does that ranking. So higher the rank, better. So you can see that here the rank, Nepal fell from 36 to 22, meaning that government effectiveness of public services dwindle, it declined. That means, remember that tax, government raising tax but not doing that proof, that is the other point that proved this point. So instead of improving it, tax increase but services dwindle. Control of corruption, it falls down, so country becomes more corrupt. Less control of the corruption, that means. And then rule of law, it goes 32 in 2008 when republic started to 25. Okay, these all three indicators point to weaker state capability, accountability, and legal restraint. I think these are very troubling. I mean, we probably some of you knew, but this puts really in a data where we are and how much we doing. Our capacity has dwindled. To be fair, the republic did improve democratic representation. If you put the chart on democratic representation, the republic era does very well. I don't have that chart here. But it failed to strengthen the government anyway. If you see here, these are the governance factor. Okay. So let me go to my 11 hard truth. Okay, I'm in the now summary part. So number one, it has been a rotation without transformation, regime change, but prosperity did not break through. Okay, Nepal fell behind. India and Bangladesh widened the gap. Demography did not deliver. We have 6 percentage point, which is a huge thing. So demography dividend, we ever talk about it, it's unless we change things, it has no meaning in Nepal. There's a demographic disaster. People do not get education, people emigrate to do the manual work. So there is no point unless we change the thing to talk about demographic dividend. They did not deliver. We keep on borrowing more and more, but I think most of it go to consumption, which I'm thinking to write another paper on. I mean, the debt is not that high in Nepal case. Don't take me wrong, but the question is where does it go? What is it doing? That's the fundamental issue. All right. Capital remains shallow. Human and physical capital stayed weak, keeping productivity low. You saw that. Labor was underused. Too many workers left because too few productive jobs were created at home. So that's another truth. Energy fell twice. Energy use did not rise enough, and the energy base remained heavily traditional, both reflecting a failure to scale up economic activity. To me, if I want to add, I think I have a paper, I have an op-ed article, so I can share it with you. The lamp that was not lit. Okay, more troubling to me in energy is more like not the we don't have the very integrated energy using economy at all. We have a very traditional type of economy still. So that's more troubling than how much megawatt we are producing. Export dwindles. As export fell, Nepal lost a vital channel of productivity growth, while the domestic productive base weakened and the trade deficit ballooned. You saw that. No quid pro quo. Nepal became a higher tax economy without better public services. Certain policy also failed. Public investment dwindled, infrastructure lagged, and external competitiveness eroded. You saw that. Public investment, the capital expenditure went down, infrastructure did not build, and institutional quality also weakened. You saw the governance related things. Overall, I think in the growth I showed you, there is no advantage, 2.4% annual growth if you discount other thing. So in this long run and short run foundation also, we did not see anything fundamentally different. Okay, my time is up. I will take one more minute. Now, basically this, I'm telling, using this 11 hard truth that the long march of prosperity for Nepal has been tripped, if not declined. Okay. Now, so what are the reform priorities? I don't have the the detail because of time constraint. We can chat about it, and I have dealt that some of these things as a full paper or full op-ed article. Fundamentally, I think let's change the mindset. Make prosperity the central national purpose. Okay, central and make our so make this as an indicator of our proudness. So I think let's redefine our priority. Make jobs the central test. Without productive jobs, dignity, stability, and growth will remain weak. Build the foundation. Prosperity requires skills, capital, technology, energy, and infrastructure. Do the policy changes, whatever is required to build those foundations. Enable enterprise. Let markets work within clear rules, sound policy, and transparent regulation. So the government taking job everywhere, government entering the thing is not the right thing. Enter in the right sector which government has role, but leave other sector to the market with well-defined rules and regulation. Cut the red tape. Reduce barriers to starting businesses, expanding firms, and making investment. Okay, make it very easy. Build state capability. Public institutions must serve development and deliver public services efficiently. That's not happening. Aim high. Treat India and China as markets for Nepali export, not as sources of foreign aid. Use remittances as support, not strategy. They can ease hardship, but cannot replace production. Make prosperity the national test. Judge politics by whether it improves everyday life. So to conclude, for Nepal, prosperity is the most urgent goal, yet one of the least discussed, least studied, and least pursued. That paradox must end. And it feels like, as an economist, I'm the only one shouting these things for years and years. And the people are, I guess some are motivated, but I still have to see more economists and from other discipline engage into this most important issue that Nepal need to address. Thank you. And this is my email. This is my blog, ramacharya.substack.com. And I have some paper about Canada and other US. If you want to know, you can look at my webpage as well. Thank you very much. It was a great honor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Acharya, for this wonderful comparative and a very critical analysis. And so I was amazed because I saw you are dragging data from 1975, the year I was born, to now. So the whole 51 years is going here in a single packet. And I found some of the participants who are sending me feedback that you are even covering from Rana regime to now, so it is maybe too vague to begin with, but it is definitely contextual. So before going to the discussion, I would like to thank all the participants, those who are joining from Canada and Nepal, as well as I see participants joining from United States, joining from India, joining from United Kingdom and Bangladesh too. So thank you everyone who spared time with us to discuss this important topic. Here are definitely super fantastic questions, and some participants they said they want to speak up the questions here instead of writing. But let me begin with a question, a long contextual question by our colleague here, Sally Gramarial. So I just want to read out a bit quickly, and then maybe you can give some insight on that. Or we can have some 2, 3, 4 questions in the beginning, and then you can discuss on this. And there are some other participants also are coming, and I will allow them to open their videos and so they can speak on that. So let me begin from Saligram Orial's question. So he writes here, it's true that monarchy runs through public purse, and I'm not a great fan of King Gyanendra and Prince Paras either. But if we look into monarchies of the world, from Japan to Saudi Arabia, Sweden, Denmark, Belgium, Netherlands, Bhutan, Australia to Spain, New Zealand to Canada, we all have monarchies. The countries I mentioned all have monarchy, and they have pro-capitalistic economic policy, and majority of Nepalese diaspora live under monarchy than republican countries. And they want to settle there. Nepal had monarchy since Kirat regime of Yalambur, Lichavi kings, Malla kings, and Saha came later. Nepal's national character is built and embodied with monarchy. Nepal has around 300 billion, 3 kharab, foreign loan in less than 23 years of republicanism in Nepal. The country has aided loan 2,400 billion, 24 kharab. He wrote in bracket as well, rupees. The Republicans set up opened avenues for national loot for both communist and Congress rulers. How do you see and how do you defend Nepal's republicanism that is leading the country into debt trap? This is a big contextual question if you want to begin from this point.
I think I will say three things. Number one, country matter, context matter. In Nepal context, I think the monarchy is a bad thing. Number one, it's not that Nepali went to monarchist country with monarchy, not because there is monarchy, but because there are better institutions. Okay, I think that's how I will look at it. Second, of course, I mean, from my presentation, you can see, I'm an economist. I value my word very carefully. And I'm not a monarchist, but still what is fact there is fact there. But even borrowing, if you look at the date, the chart I showed you, you will always have to do with respect to GDP. In the Panchayat era also it was very high. Then it came down. If you go back and look that chart, the question is what they did with that loan. In both cases, I think we fail in Republican regime, but that's the fact. But third thing I would say, republicanism is not MLA, Mahabadi, or Congress. It's better. It's a bigger tent. It's a better tent. So I think we missed the tent. We missed what we were supposed to do, and we did not do it. But only looking those three parties is loot, which I agree. Please read my article on Republica. In the election, the Nepali has voted to break the cage. That was a pinjara. लेखनाथ पौडेलको पिंजडा जस्तै थियो नेपालीहरूले त्यो पिंजडा तोडे. I agree with it, but I think going back to king is not a viable or right solution to me. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Similar question I have there with by Ramesh Shrestha, and then I will go with Dr. Rabindra Chamaralgai. He wants to talk instead of write. So first, let's go with Ramesh Shrestha's question because it is quite similar. I just want to read out for you, and then you can give.
But actually, I can read if you want from
Okay.
here.
Yeah, you can go ahead
Yeah.
too.
I think what he is saying is the bigger issue is government. The last chart I showed you, the constraint, right? The second issue is the three prominent political parties which are firmly established their influence in all educational institutions and even government, how to bring this breed of Generation Z to building Nepal's economy. So in a way, I think, you know what, I don't know. To me, because I'm an economist, maybe because I'm an economist, to me, the only thing that can change a nation is the economic growth. It will lift all the boats. It will break all the barriers. It will think people how to use their time and energy. I think because there are no jobs, because there are no other thing to do, I think a lot of Nepalese resources have been wasted. If we have government which persistently, think the growth as a national strategy, growing, being richer is glorious, taking that Teng Xiaoping idea, which is a great thing, and I think and building our education and health sector, that serves everybody.
Right. Okay, so the next question from Dr. Rabindra Cholagai from Acadia University. You can open your mic and video if you want to, and then you can ask a question. Dr. Cholagai. Yeah, he's here. Welcome.
Thank you, Manu sir, for the opportunity. Uh, First, it's a thank you so much, Ram sir, for this very great, interesting presentation. I don't think that I could understand all the things you provided. There are a lot actually, and it's a very comprehensive analysis, comprehensive and it's a comparative analysis of like you navigated three complex regimes. I have a very like general question. I work around
I will have,
society, but I
remember,
think
I'm
in the
not
Department of
navigated.
Sociology. So I would assume your research is like fundamentally based on the quantitative research approach. So, does your research actually inform you with some three qualitative questions that are really potential and then in the
I have
future
very
funded, or like, and what are the questions actually look like, and they're really interesting to navigate social problems in Nepal? These are the questions actually.
yeah, mostly I use quantitative and I will call quote unquote a rigorous approach. To me, I think uh, I would say three things bothers me. Um, One, the wasted resources, the school not teaching. I think that's a great tragedy for Nepal. That we are not teaching in the public school, at least we are not teaching students. That in a way segregates our village who can afford to the private and the public. I'm not a great fan of we should distribute. As you can see that I say let's raise the pie, let's increase the pie of production, but let's do good education and health sector as well. Those two sectors, I think, if we grow faster, we have more resources, we'll be able to use more for health and education. And the third thing is, I think, the remittances, which is a different issue. I don't want to open the Pandora's box. I think the remittances are killing our incentive. It's destroying our economy, it's destroying our, I mean, it has reduced our poverty, that's granted. But I think that because the government did not use the policy, what type of policy had to be changed in the flow of that massive capital from outside, they did not do that. As a result, you see that our export is falling, our industry have gone. So, and the people, even high school now, if you go to the in public school, they say, "Oh, I don't want to study because eventually I have to go to the Saudi Arabia to work. What's the point of working hard in school, right?" This type of mentality and people not working because someone is sending money from outside. I think this is a big tragedy for the nation. So that three things bothers me a lot.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Cholagai, for
Thank you
your
so
wonderful
much.
question and the response. I have some more questions here from Santosh Kimire from Ottawa. So he's giving a good feedback as well as asking one question. What measures Nepal need to take in securing high quality jobs domestically to retain its young labor workforce?
This is a million or billion dollar question. I wish I knew. I wish I knew, and I wish there was a one bullet that you could fix this. It's a gradual approach. I think the to me, if you want me to say something, I think the how to create jobs and how to grow our pie of production should be a national discussion. It should be discussed in school. It should be discussed at home. It should be discussed in any day the cabinet meeting. I think these are the very fundamental, very core issue. Nobody has been discussing this thing. The 2.5 years ago, I was there. I gave very similar presentation why Nepal fell. They were all from former prime minister to everybody. They said it was eye-opening because they never do this thing. They always quarrel in small thing, right? Oh, who get this thing? Who get the ambassadorial thing? Who get this CEO to? That's why I said let's change our mindset. We are completely distorting our creativity by focusing on those petty issues. I think we have to think about we need a firm, we need a company. So let's make very easy for company to do. Let's produce energy cheaper so that they can use energy. Let's make the labor hiring easier so that they can use hire. Let's make reduce the role of union, that union can block anything anytime. I agree the union has a right, but I think in Nepal it has gone too far. So there are many things that need to be fixed, and that can be fixed if there is a courage and there is a a resolve. I think it can be done. So it's not one answer. It's boosting innovation, the institution that respect or encourage innovation, the institution that encourages firms to expand, to scale, the institution that raise the energy production and energy use, and the institution that allow in saving to go to the investment without any bribery or anything. I think that will help to create eventually. It doesn't come overnight, but we have to start the path.
Here is one more question from Chitra Pradhan sir from London. So he's simply writing, greetings to all, great presentation. Thank you. In a sentence or two, what is a significant problem of Nepal? It's a broad question.
Yeah, I think the significant problem is we do not pay attention to the most important issue of Nepal, why Nepal remain poor, why India and China came out of that hole, and why did not we? That's the single most important question to be discussed in every classroom. If you want me to say, yes, that's the important issue.
Okay, so we have some feedback coming from Facebook Live as well. So there is one feedback from Sailesh Shrestha from Toronto. His writing this presentation clearly gives us this solid idea and justification that the latest Gen Z revolt and semi-revolution was so much needed. Thank you so much for showing us very clear picture of Nepal. He's simply giving you feedback on that, so he doesn't have any question. I have one question. So based on the whole presentation, the scenario, the critical analysis, and the context of the new government in Nepal having almost two-third majority in the country. So what are the possible strategies that the new very powerful and almost two-third majority government of Nepal should do immediately in short term and in long term based on your priority, maybe one to short term, one to immediate, one to long term trajectory to address the economic discrepancy that you demonstrated in your presentation?
Okay. Few things. I'm happy about what happened to Nepal. That's a disclosure first. Okay. Second, as I said, I think 2-3 times already, economic growth or development doesn't come that easily, and it doesn't come that quickly. But the path can be set. So, though 5 conversion, although there are others too, I think the most important one, this has to be seriously discussed, and any policy that hinders those conversion, student not getting education, right? Not getting quality education, number 2. Saving dwindling, and saving is not translating into investment, number 3. Number 4, energy not being produced or too expensive or too burdensome, and a company not using that energy, and Nepal being the least energy used country, right? So it's changing our potential, whatever those 30,000 megawatt the Rashtriya Swatantara Party said, which is I think impossible, but anyway, that's a different issue. Converting that, looking about how to pay our at least 50% of our import by export, okay? Converting that, addressing policy that our export to increase. It is not easy, but those are the 5 failures. And 6, looking at the government expenditure, why we are spending so much in a recurrent, not in capital building, not in building bridges or building something, right? Those 6 and 7 conversion thing, I think these are the immediate challenge, and these are the foundation of our of country's development, and that the government should work, of course. On the basic of this, I think the Ramesh Shrestha said the basic thing, the fundamental thing is the institution, right? If you have the corruption, people getting ahead with connection, not with meritocracy, it never happens. So those are the things government should control, have good governance. Okay, so you need to fix that first. If you don't have good government, nothing works. Remember, we immigrant, we came from somewhere. We believe that you don't have to know anybody, and you can go to the school, go get the education, get the job. If there were connection was important, we would not have been here where we are today. If our children were not able to go to basic public school and get the decent education and get the best job, we will not have been where we are today. So what makes us capable is because the society finance and give us the opportunity of every family, irrespective of their parents. They could go to school, they could get the education, they could get the best education they want, and that's how the nation is built. The nation building is an intergenerational thing. So Nepal had to start teaching the students in public school, whatever resources we have, providing services in the public hospitals, and transforming those our power into converting those power that I mentioned into real force of growth. I think that will transform the nation.
All right. Here are two more questions coming here along with one follow-up question, maybe from Ramesh Shrestha, sir, again. How do you think the recent proven discovery of 12 billion barrels of LNG in Daily could be brought into market? It will bring in energy and income. This is one question for Dr. Ramesh Shrestha. Another question coming from Anasuya Dakal. Is there a possibility for Nepal to restructuring our villages where houses are far apart from each other and costly and inconvenient to bring transportation and other infrastructure quality? Do you think is it also a major problem of Nepal's poor economic country, meaning dispersed housing? So these are the two questions here.
I don't know. I don't have the ground understanding of LNG. I think it's very initial phase. So it's a good thing if we have that. But how to market it, what will be the capacity, how it will change, it still remain to be seen. So I have not really formed I mean, I think about it once in a while, but I don't have the firm conviction of it. However, I would say this: no matter what resources you get, it is not the point of only resources. How do we use that and for what purpose? We have water flowing, years and years and सदियौँदेखि खोला बगै छन्, त्यो लस्ट वाटर त लस्ट वाटर भयो नि। हामीले त्यो 50 वर्ष अगाडि त्यो बिजुली उत्पादन गरेका भए त्यसको आउटपुट कति हुन्थ्यो होला, थिङ्क अबाउट इट। हामीले 25 वर्ष अगाडिदेखि डिसेन्ट एजुकेसन दिन सकेको भए कति नेपाली बेटर एजुकेटेड हुन्थ्यो होला। द्याट इज अलवेज लस्ट। ओके, सो अब हामीले चाहिँ वी हेभ सिन दोज कन्ट्री हु हेभ ओइल, हु हेभ एलएनजी, वाट एभर दोज, बट सम अफ देम आर डिग्रेडिङ, दे आर गोइङ इन द रिभर्स अर्डर. So what is important is the institution. Again, coming back to this, how do we build a nation? Only resources will not make you rich. There are countries who have no resources but are rich. It's only how you put policy together. Do you care about your country to be rich? I think that's the question. Do you care about the prosperity, or you just criticize other country and just stay at home? Criticize China, criticize India, criticize America, and say, oh, we are Nepalese, we are always proud, we are the strongest people in the world. Okay, if that is our proudness, so be it. Right? So we need to change our mindset. How to build a strong nation based on skills and based on better jobs. I think that's where my orientation would be. And the second question was the dispersed. This is a challenge. Nepal is a difficult country. Let me share it with you. Some of you may not believe it's a landlocked country. Although it has the opportunity, it has 2 billion people on the north and south. If we could sell in India, I mean, you can sell thousands of rupees of trade just in bicycle, right? I mean, in India, it's a great opportunity, but we have not been able to share that. And I would say that Nepal is between two most dynamic country today in the world, China and India. And we are not doing enough to understand them. We are not doing enough to target our policy to take their market. Okay, that's a complete failure. So we are only taking the cost of landlockedness, but we are not taking the advantage that these two markets are giving. The second problem is dispersed resettlement. Okay, Nepal has an issue. I see that when I go to Nepal, there is a nice road built a year ago. There are only 3 houses. I don't know what the rationale of this is. So whether that should have been built or not, that's a different issue. If you do in cost benefit analysis, those roads should not have been built. You need a road where density is highest. But seems to me Nepal builds road when there is no density and do not build road when there is density. Okay, that's the wrong approach. There might be other way you can compensate. It's not only road that you need. You need something. Maybe there is some resettlement can be done in some cases, given
Yeah.
that people are understand the issue, that they will be better off by resettling this thing. In some places, I think it is important, but that's not the only issue that is dragging us behind.
Yeah.
That's a policy failure.
Okay, there are two more participants who want to share their questions or thoughts by speaking here. So I would like to welcome Dr. Chitra Pradhan sir again. Come, you can open your video and then you can share your thoughts, and followed by Deep Kumar, who is the Canfor board member. He also wants to ask some question by opening the video. So first, Chitra sir, please come forward. Chitra sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm trying to open. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just open your video mode on.
Mm,
If not,
Looks like my video is not opening, but my
I will
speaker
check.
is on, right?
All right, yeah, we are here.
Okay, thank you. Regarding my one significant problem of Nepal, for me, actually, one significant problem, it has been covered over here. Nonetheless,
Yeah,
early
disconnected.
education and secondary education, that's the one. And until that is solved, Nepal will never succeed, or it will be very difficult to succeed. The reason is that personality is developed by the age of 18. A human personality is developed by the age of 18. By the age of 18, a lot is learned, a lot is developed. One also needs to understand that up to grade 6, education is one thing, and after that, higher secondary education is totally another thing. A teacher in Nepal needs to understand in early education, there is no teaching. There's one thing, is the brain development. So that's the most important thing. That's the time when we churn to develop the brain. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, there we learn to prepare ourselves for higher education, tertiary education, or for jobs. Okay, so I think that that's the thing. Tertiary education is different ball game at all altogether. So until unless that is improved, it's not going to change. I have visited many schools in Nepal. When World Bank started early education in selected schools, as in about 12 district, I visited all of them, and they have the reason why I visited was kind of research thing to find out how good they were, how they were doing, because in Bhutan we had started and it was 1 year old, and in Nepal it was 6 years old. And I had foreign guests, my curriculum officers, myself. We went there, visited, and the British said, actually, the Nepalese teachers should come to Bhutan and see our school. We are 1 year old, they are 6 years old, and they are not even close. Now, this is many years ago, and that was an experiment done in Nepal. I don't know where it went, but I don't think it went to the right direction at all, because that was extraordinary thing to be done with World Bank money, but I don't know where it went. So, in 1 or 2 words, school education is number one, and only after that, other things can happen. And that's a Ramji has said about human capital. So that is human capital, and that has to be established really strongly. If that's established, Nepal will go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Chitra sir. It's a wonderful insight. So education is the foundation for everything. So there is no any comparison unless we don't have any good education. So we have two more questions coming here, but before that, I just want to welcome Deep for he wants to ask a question. Deep is the one of the board members of Canfor. So Deep, go ahead. So he's the coordinator of this today's campaign as well, webinar 3.
So, thank you, Ram sir, for this very insightful presentation. And I was excited for this topic too because I am the fan of economics. I always wanted to, I study economics. So my concern was when I was looking into the presentation, I was thinking about what would be the one major problem behind all this. Like, so if we look into a foundational or root cause, what would be the reason behind this poor performance of Nepal? So is political instability could be the main cause? Yeah, that was my question.
Okay.
To me, political instability is not the main reason. I think we should dig deeper. Why there is a political instability, right? So, number one. Number two, political stability alone will not give you growth. We saw that under monarchy, we saw that absolute monarchy and constitutional monarchy. So I think it's, if I want to say one thing, but even then, I don't think I have a very grounded answer. It's an institution. But institution doesn't come in the sky, right? It has also reason why institution have not been built, right? So then that takes me back to the, I think the kind of not cultural, but again back to the same saying that why we should remain so poor? Why should we always ask for somebody to repair our bridge? Why our mentality is always seeking outside and thinking what we can do? That I think, number one, as Chita Pradhan has said, I think one of the reason we are not educated enough. We are not rightly educated enough. I think that's one thing. And the second thing is, um, when you think about this, I always think about China. How poor it was, why Deng Xiaoping came. It was a suicidal potentially to say, the to be rich is glorious. Okay. So I think these things drives me back. We have to not individually, but as a nation. Why Nepal? I mean, China came out of it. I said already, India came out of it. I mean, they are growing rapidly. India is growing rapidly. One of the fastest growing economy in the world today. China has slowed down, obviously, more than what we thought. The rate of slowdown is more than what we expected. But still, I mean, they have reached a milestone. Why not us? I think, to me, I'm so frustrated. Nobody talks about this thing anymore, even the economists. I think we don't have. Let me say this thing. You are all educated people, and I think you probably will not like what I'm going to say. But I think what I found for us, I think as a group, uh, we are not motivated enough on anything we do. We do not put 100% into it. Politicians don't put 100% into it. Teacher don't put 100% into it. Researcher don't. Sorry, that's my. I'm completely wrong. We have to be motivated. The people need to be motivated. The Nepalese people need to be motivated. The company need to be motivated. Students need to be motivated. Students need to be motivated to get great education. Teachers should be motivated to teach better. These all things have gone up. I mean, gone down the drain. Now, how do we recover that? It's the process should start from the government. Okay, so hopefully the new government will understand this thing and try to reverse those things. That when we were educated, at least in the panchayat regime, we were very encouraged to have a better education. In the public school, you can get reasonably good education compared to there were no many private school. But that has gone, that things has been going. I mean, it's worse than what it used to be today. So to me, it's a many factor. It's not one factor, I think. So many factors are shaping our institution from our Rana time to, we started education very late. And it seems to me that we are in the wrong path. not only late starter, but we have been a wrong starter. I mean, I think those are the reasons, and we do not value much. Saving, putting in the bank has no meaning, right? So even saver has to be incentivized how to make more money in the right way, not bribing or anything, but being entrepreneur. So for that, the government has to respect entrepreneurship. Nobody in the government before, maybe now, I don't know, nobody respected entrepreneurship. Oh, तिनीहरूले नाफा कमाउँछन् यो नाफाखोरी हो हेर्नुहोस् है. What do you do your money if you don't make profit? Of course, make profit, pay the tax, make the rule. It's a government rule, right? So these are the things. I think there are many failures there, so it needs to be fixed. So there is no one answer, but I think it can be done. So if everybody in every occupation thinks, am I doing the right thing? I'm doing the maximum I could. I think if we could get that answer, yes, then only the Nepal will develop.
All right. Okay. So we have just 2 more minutes left, and we have 3, 4 questions here. So maybe you can select one of them. Dr. Ajay Viste has one question. Dr. Biplab Kafle has one question. And another question by Bisal. So he's not full name here. Bisal has one question.
Yeah, maybe I think let them speak quickly what the question is. Just a blank, and then I will cover them. Because otherwise they are really. So what do I do next?
So you can pick up one question. So I think you can pick up Dr. Ajay Vista's question in the beginning.
Okay, I have to find it here. Just a moment.
I can write, how come Nepal managed to get some positive trends of consumption proxied by household income, expenditure, and access to services proxied by SDI?
Well, it's because of the consumption has gone up because of remittances.
We have just 1 minute, so
Yeah, it's a remittances. So the bottom line is remittances finances most of our consumption. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. All those distinguished participants, very experts in different fields, they are here. So we are so happy to have you all and your insights, your questions, and your context and everything. And I will be thankful to all my Canfor board members who made this event successful. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful Canfor webinar 3. And we're looking forward to everyone for the future webinars as well. Dr. Ram Acharya, do you have any one sentence you want to add?
Yeah, just I want to say thank you very much. Sorry, I could not have a long answer to some of the question. I know maybe no answer to some of the question at all. But I can be always reached by my email acharya.ramc@gmail.com. Please subscribe without any cost. Subscribe my Substack, and if you like one of those this presentation, please send me an email. I will be very happy to share with you. And let's keep the ball rolling. We are in the right direction.
This presentation, this discussion is recorded and it will be available on canfor.com website, webinar 3.
Oh.
So tomorrow I will let you know that once it is uploaded on the system. Thank you, everyone, for joining with us, and we're looking forward to the webinar 4, and we'll let you know during that time. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Acharya.
Thanks a lot.